Had a tough ending to an unbelievable season. Just want to give so many props and kudos to the players, to our coaches, to our staff. It's been fun to watch, this fourth year here in Memphis. It's been unique the first 3 years, finally kind of like a full season for them where, protocols aren't impacting guys' availability, not the opportunities our Grizzlies players got to play at the hustle level, to get better. You see so many of our guys in our rotation that, benefited from time with them. The connectivity, togetherness of the hustle. Jay March and his staff did a phenomenal job developing players, getting them competitive every single night. It was fun to watch. I went to the game this morning. Our staff was there. Some of our players showed up. You saw some of our players that are with the Grizzlies that were sitting on the bench, with their teammates. It's been great to see what these 4 years have shown from the hustle, how much they mean to us. We talk about that all the time. Tough ending. We obviously wish that we were advanced into the conference finals, but I had to say, what a heck of a season. So big props to them. They'll be back hungry as ever, and they do an unbelievable job for us. So just wanted to shout them out today.
Well, that reminded me that Junior won Rookie of the Year in the G League. What does that mean for him, and what do you make of his season overall?
Yeah, I think absolutely deserving. He did an unbelievable job when he was with the hustle. I think rookie leader in points and rebounds. You see his playmaking out there. It was he was a nightmare for opponents every single game that he played. And for a rookie, obviously, you see the last couple of games, all the preparation he had, with the hustle to be able to come and contribute with the Grizzlies. I think he's taken full advantage of it as a rookie coming in and building a new routine, new style of play, at the NBA level. He's taken every opportunity to develop. So I'm so happy he got rewarded, with Rookie of the Year. It was great to see him recognized before the game. Obviously, he went out and played a great game. Hopefully this is a boost for him to continue understanding how he's got a bright young future. He was obviously on the Rising Stars team, at All-Star Weekend. Just another, kind of milestone for his early career.
Taylor, you only have, a few more games left this season. Just wondering, starting with tonight, what is kind of the overlapping plan that you have in terms of, you have the young guys, you may want to develop some, but you have a playoff push here, the standings and everything around that. Just what's kind of the big goals you have over this last stretch?
There's a lot, in a short amount of time. Obviously, figuring out our rotations, we keep debating that every single day. Obviously we've been going 10 with back-to-backs and 4 and 6 and all that stuff, and some guys, being banged up here and there. So haven't gotten to that 9-man as frequently as we've wanted to. So that's still on the table for discussion. Figuring out, some stints for different guys, how their sub patterns are going to be. Haven't drastically changed from what I think we're potentially going to do. So focusing on that. And then really preparing for what our opponent's going to throw at us. Obviously in the regular season, you're not going to see everyone's cards, from a game plan standpoint, offensively or defensively. So kind of just meeting as a staff and talking about what are things that we can do in our practice time, shoot around times that may apply to our opponent that night, but can also be beneficial to prepare for the playoffs. Those are some things that we want to be focused on. There's the details at the end of the day. It's our fundamentals are the starting point for us. Coming out with the urgency, the mentality, all that, but our fundamentals, transition defense, man-to-man defense, our pick and rolls, all that, and then we'll dive into our adjustments and counters offensively that we got to get into. But sometimes the game doesn't present that, but we got to find ample time, whether it's in a game or in a practice, to make sure we've got everything kind of fine-tuned over these next 2 weeks.
Terry Ball.
Coach, with maybe Kawhi playing tonight, how did it affect you attacking the Clippers tonight versus the last game?
Obviously he poses a whole lot, different elements, offensively and defensively. I thought the Clippers did a phenomenal job. Just, Russ set a tone for them, the other night. Their shooters got loose on us. I talked to the guys about just our ability to know personnel tendencies, our lack of communication and urgency. Gave up 141 points. We don't normally do that. It's kind of that's unacceptable on our part. Offensively, we scored. They still made it tough. 130, but when you watch the film, it's like, yeah, we had to earn a lot of things. They're smart defenders. They're aggressive. Now you put Kawhi in there, and he's an aggressive scorer and aggressive defender. So definitely going to be a focal point for sure. But they had so many other guys play extremely well. It's Westbrook. It's Gordon. It's Powell. Covington got loose on us. Zubac's can give us problems. Plumlee. They got a lot of depth. They're a really good team. So there'll be a couple wrinkles, but at the end of the day, we're going to come out with the urgency, the communication that we need to do no matter what our coverages are. And then we got to see, a couple of things they did defensively against us, how they're guarding our pick and rolls, what are they doing in our drive situations, how we got to be better prepared to execute on the offensive end too.
Taylor, you mentioned knowing your personnel. That's something Dylan also mentioned Wednesday night, and you see how the league is offensively. How do you prepare to take away threes? They hit 20+ threes Monday night. They did it again Wednesday. It's not like you can pack pain or pressure and force more turnovers and stuff like that. Like threes are pretty much like guys shooting the ball. Like how do you prepare to take something like that away?
Yeah, I don't think you can ever take it away. I mean, the nature of the league and also personnel is they're going to shoot it regardless. You can't, make a gentleman's agreement and say, hey, don't shoot this one. Like you got to execute your transition defense so you're not in rotations to give up an easy three. So is our, urgency early in possessions good? When a guy's got the ball one-on-one, what kind of driver is he? Are we funneling him away that he's maybe less of a playmaker? If we're shifting, are we shifting as much or less depending on what his shooting abilities are? So there's a lot of factors involved. We can't control everything out there, but we try to move the needle when it's coverage schemes, how we, guard guys when they're off the ball, how we guard guys in pick and rolls, knowing if they're shooters coming off of screens too. We try to influence that. It's basically trying to influence and minimize as much as possible. Easier said than done, but obviously this team, we know they thrive, being, I think, one of the top 3-point shooting teams all season, especially recently.
Taylor, so you were talking about those substitution patterns, especially going into the playoffs, and over the past month, you've gotten more data with Tyus with the starters, and then also too when Ja came back, he had those time off the benches. One where Tyus moves into that first substitution pattern to play more minutes with the starters, is that one being heavily considered given the data that we have there?
Yeah, that's definitely on our mind. Especially when we go to 9, obviously, Tyus has been huge for us, how we got to figure out the right, matchups and, cadence to our sub patterns there. It's definitely on the docket. Sometimes as the game goes, I have an initial plan and someone's, hot out there and I kind of ride that person a little bit longer so I don't kill their rhythm. There's foul trouble that impacts it. We try not to chase, defensive matches as much, but we're known to do that at time to time. But then, the Tyus one for sure, just how he orchestrates and, another ball handler out there, you see what Dez can do. Luke's playmaking starting to show a little bit more too. So, and he's Tyus is shooting the ball extremely well from the 3-point line too. So there's definitely things offensively, defensively, we're figuring out what those combinations can look like, whether that happens as our initial sub or as the game goes on, second quarter, fourth quarter subs as well.
The last 3, Evan, Drew, and Devine.
Taylor, kind of on a different note, obviously, Steve was coming back soon, but what's it been like just kind of having him as like almost another coach on the bench, almost because he is one of the oldest guys on the team? How's it been kind of watching him lead differently just from, the sidelines where it's, obviously on the court, he's such a big presence and everything?
Yeah, it's new for him. We're obviously hopeful. Nothing's definitive yet. I think we'll have updates, closer to the end of the regular season. I think we double checked. It was like that 4-week marker when we put the news out, so towards the end of the regular season. So hopeful, but, it's new to him. He's never been out this extended absence, but he's really taking the young guys under his wing. He did that last year, even when he was in the rotation, but now he's doing it even more. You see him standing on the sidelines, being more of a presence, talking to guys while on the floor, whether that's guards or bigs. His voice in the locker room, I've really seen that grown, even pre-injury, but he's done that even more now because he's always trying to just contribute as much as possible. So it's huge. He's got the experience, he's got the care factor, he's got the knowledge. So he's doing stuff, taking guys on the sauna and the spa room and all that stuff, just talking big picture stuff. So it's not always X's and O's. So it's huge trait. This is the stuff that we talked about our first dinner, 2 summers ago. And now he's able to do that. Obviously, we wish he was out there playing with us, but he's finding ways to impact still.
Dylan has mentioned a few times that he's taking a new role this season. I think he's used 3-and-D a couple of times. What was that process like, getting him to embrace that, and how do you think he's done in that new role so far?
Yeah, no, it's been ongoing because there's been times where he's embraced the 3-and-D, and we haven't told him 3-and-D, but him recognizing just the usage out there and how other guys are initiating the offense, and then his calling card defensively for us and his leadership just in general. But then when guys are in and out, obviously it takes on a different role, so it's not always going to be consistent for 82 games. But I think he's doing a great job. It takes time, especially what is in his 6th year right now. So to have kind of form of evolution, coming into the season, and then things change when JJ's out, Dez is out, all that kind of stuff. I think these last couple of weeks have really shown the amount of work that he's put in, and understanding that, hey, when we're fully healthy, this is where I can still thrive. Be a guy that can be a go and catch downhill finisher. I can knock down threes. He's improved that the last couple of weeks, and then still set a tone for us defensively.
I think last season, a lot of the guys were vocal about, hey, we want to get this 2 seed, we want to get the 2 seed. I was just wondering, like, do you consider at this point this year, with more experience and everything, is seeding, whether you get the 1, the 2, or the 3, is that important?
I think you can always say it's important. But we don't actively talk about it. It was good that the players last year were talking about it. It was that goal, something that they want to accomplish. That we did accomplish that. I'm not sure what the chatter's been with those guys. Privately, I always give them their space. In that standing. But for us, I know I keep saying it's just finding our best version of ourselves. We've had guys in and out recently, getting job back. Guys have been out the last 2 games. You know, we're still figuring out, you know, where Steve-O's at, BC's out for the season, all that stuff. So we're kind of figuring things out still. So there's some chemistry that we've got to develop. So it's hard to kind of say, hey, we want to be the 2, we want to be the 3, the 1. We just want to win every game, honestly. So when we go out there, you know, the other night we took an L. We got to be better and try to go get a W tonight. So that's where our focus is. Obviously, you know, clinching the division, clinching a playoff spot, avoiding the play-in. Those are all important things. But luckily, we're not setting these goals that, hey, we have to attain that, and we forget all the other things that we got to focus on. It's our standards, it's our execution, it's our urgency, it's our communication. That's the stuff that's going to get you the 1, the 2, the 3, and hopefully a successful playoff run.